Welcome to my domain controller on my domain for each software, and I'm going to show you how you can create groups within the Active Directory. I'm going to show you how you can create global groups and how you can create domain local groups. Global groups you use for collecting users into logical groups like departments. Everyone from the human resources department I put in within one group, so I collect them in logical groups. Domain local groups I use for resources like printers, shares and everything. I give every share its own group. If you are a member of this group, then you can print or you can share, anything like that. Let's first start creating a global group. Therefore, you can use the commandlet New-ADGroup. That's the commandlet to creating a group. By default, you create a security group and a global group. You only have to add the name. So let's do this. We add a name and we call it GG_human resources. We call the GG underscore, we call this a prefix. So we use this so you can see that it's a global group on the name of the group. And when I run this command, it will create a global group, global security group. I can add some other parameters like the group category. By default, I said it was a security group. I can add group scope. By default, it is in global group. So these I don't have to add because they are default. And let's add a nice description. And the description is users of the users department human resources, and add also a nice display name. Users of human resources. That's a nice display name. Oh, it's not users. I think that's not a readable commandlet in this way, so I'm going to add the backtick on the end of each line to make it more readable. I use a backtick here to go to a new line. I tap it before to make it more readable. The space is required, so you need a space before the backtick. I want a new line here. I want a new line here. A new line here. And a new line here. I don't need the backtick at the end because I don't want another new line there. So I spread this command over multiple lines. Now it's time to run it. I run it before, so I can get an error. So I use another name. Let's call it IT. So for the department IT users IT. Yes, so I renamed it to IT because I already have a human resources group. Let's run it. And now you see that don't get an error. That's a good sign. Let's use the get a new AD group command to look at the information of this group. So I can use get-AD-group underscore IT to retrieve the information of this group. And you see we get a nice list of all the information. You don't see everything in this list, but it's the most important information. We can also use a filter to show a filter on the same way. Let's filter on the name. Dash EQ stands for equal, and I use a double quote on the outside and then single quote on the inside, and I use IT. This is the same as this command, otherwise we use a filter. Why I show you this? Because I can, instead of equal to, can use the like operator, and then I can use this prefix to search all the GG groups, and I get the list of all the GG groups. You see I've already 4 GG groups. Let's format this in a nice table. So I'll pipe it through to the commandlet format table, and I want to see the name, the distinguished name, and the group scope. Group scope. These 3 elements. Let's run it and we get a nice list. Oh, yes. So we have a list of all my global groups, and you see this prefix comes in handy because I can search on it and I get all the GG groups, all the global groups I have within my Active Directory. Now let's add a global group. I use a different notation. I use the object notation of the global groups. Global groups you use for printers. We're gonna make a share for the IT department so they can share the information. A group for the share, a domain local share. Let's call it settings. Domain local group share IT. It's a very long name, doesn't matter. It explains what this variable is for. That's good. Now I'm going to put all these parameters within this object with the object notation. First you have to use the parameter, and then you have to add the name. I call it DA share IT. Let's put in also the permissions we want to add to this share. So you can, this is the share, this is the group name for the share we want to use. It's not the, it's a security group category, and it's also a security group, and with global group scope. And this is not global, this is a domain local, because we are working with resources. Now let's add a nice description. Let's add a nice share for IT department. It's a group. Yeah, I don't like this, but let's go on. A display name is share IT department. Now we have the same parameters, another notation. We're going to spread this object behind the New-ADGroup command with the @ sign and then the variable name. I can't copy it in, otherwise I'm gonna make some mistakes. Now let's run it. We have to run all the lines, and you see we don't get any error. That's a good sign. Let's show if we also have a nice, if we have the group. I'm gonna use this filter to get all my DL groups. So I change the GG underscore for DL underscore, and you see I have a nice list of 2 DL groups, one for a printer for the headquarters, another for the share for the IT department. Now I showed you how you can make some groups, and in 2 ways. I hope you liked watching this movie, and I see you next time. Bye bye.